grow your knowledge and then speak confidently. Because people are harsh on social media and they know. You either know your shit or you don't.
Clip this, Ben. TP never wants to hang out with your boy.
No, it's just like as the podcast goes on, Joe's like this.
I get comfortable.
Too comfortable.
It's my
You have to remember we're already in a tight space. It looks ridiculous when two grown men
Too cozy.
sitting two next to each other.
Dude.
No, it's not fine.
I'm trying my best here. This is the biggest couch. You're the one who wanted this couch.
No, I'm not. Scoot over. There you go.
Guys, share the wall.
Damn, dude. Mike, what's going on, buddy?
Nothing, man. Nothing. Back on the podcast, second time.
Second time on the pod. Well, tell the people what you got going on lately.
I've just been editing, come in, been working on more client stuff. My Phillies are good somewhat. That's about it.
Somewhat.
So you're getting more and more client projects now. What's the biggest thing you think you learned?
Probably just the use of B-roll, like getting better at using like background clips and like trying to include like more B-roll to tell a story. Okay. So I think I've gotten a little bit better at storytelling.
We're sprinting up the stairs.
Yeah, 100%, dude. The storytelling's getting better. Oh, Joe's here. Benny, what episode is this?
47.
Episode 47 of the Real Talk Podcast. It's your host, Joey.
And Thomas.
And if you like what you're hearing, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. TP.
Feels like it's
been a hot minute.
Yeah, let's catch people up.
Oh, yeah, we went to Montana.
How was that? Cut to a little B-roll sequence. All right.
And yeah, that was fun. We had a great time out there. We got some awesome shots.
Yeah, we walked up a hill. I was gassed.
Everyone's gassed. Oh, check out our push-up challenge on Instagram, too, if you haven't checked out our push-up challenge.
Push-up challenge. What else? But yeah, we were able to catch up this week, and then this weekend we'll be really busy. Next week, busy. Commercial shoot.
You going to Sacramento?
He's going to Sacramento.
Let's go.
And then I'll be going to Florida
the week
after.
Shooting the boat show
for my boy Joey Boats.
Shout out Joey Boats one time.
Joey two boats.
But yeah, things are smooth sailing. Good on you.
Where is the wood?
All right, TP. So tell me, baby, who do we got on today?
Today we have on Joseph Aziz, owner of Prestige Property Group, a brokerage of 40 agents and counting. Joe personally sold over $200 million in real estate and runs a successful YouTube channel. Everybody welcome on Joseph Aziz.
We got things falling. Joe's coming on.
Where's the camera? It's right there?
Your
Camera.
So it's head on.
Camera.
Nice.
Yeah, so this one's head on. That's the main shot, and then that's our camera right there.
This is the first podcast I've ever been on.
Really?
Yeah, never been on a podcast.
Wow.
I did something while driving one time. It was super weird. I don't know if it was just audio, but somebody called me out the blue. They're like, I'm doing a podcast right now. This is like a called-in radio guest. Getting calls. I'm like ending the calls. I'm like, this is so crazy. I was trashed my car.
Oh, that's crazy.
Did that ever come out?
No.
You're like, I have no idea.
It was probably somebody. I gave them my social. It was weird.
Yeah.
Damn. So for the people who don't really know you all too well, can you give them a little insight on Prestige Property Group and everything on your end?
I've been a realtor for 8 years. I decided right around COVID time to open up my own brokerage. I used to work for a company that I will not name, but they basically fired me once they heard I was trying to open up my own brokerage.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was looking at office spaces, and I guess they found out, and they were like, "Oh, we have to let you go," because they were worried about like trying to recruit. Mm-hmm. So I said, "No problem, but I need like 2 weeks because I have like 12 under contract. I have like listings. Like there's I can't just up and leave. I have a functioning business." And they were like, okay, you got 2 weeks. And I think that pushed me to sign a lease sooner than I, needed to or could have. But it ended up being something that was very fruitful. And it's funny because like 3 or 4 realtors from that office immediately joined. Right. I actually had one of my good friends, Ahmad. He was a realtor there, and he's like, oh, you're opening up, you're doing your own thing? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, cool. He like unplugged his computer. Let's go. So he was the first realtor at Prestige, and then it's been amazing since then. I have 41 right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
And what's that initial like push to get you to start your own brokerage?
I think it was just like the inability to market and advertise and do what you want as a brokerage. And just like there's a lot of fees with other companies that a lot of agents don't realize. And I don't know, I just feel like there's not really any guidance. I feel like everybody that's guiding you in these big companies, they've been out of touch for years. So they haven't really, like you go to pick any real estate brokerage and pick the office manager, and they haven't sold a house in like 5 years. Like, so it's like, how can you guide me or how can you be my resource? And then if you did want somebody who's active in real estate, you're giving them 25, 50% on top of the split for the office. So like I wanted to kind of create an office where there was an environment where you have a question. If there's an issue with a transaction, you're either picking up the phone and calling me or my partner, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have some of the dopest office space.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a really cool space.
Montclair, right? Yeah, Montclair.
Downtown Montclair, we have a 2,000 square foot office. It's 2 floors. I got a COVID deal, which is nice. You know, that I pay like $5,500. That office now is like $10,000.
Yeah,
So
that's
like,
crazy.
I made sure I signed a 10-year lease. So
How did you build a team so quickly?
I don't have a team. I'm very anti-team, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of, I don't know if I should say this.
it's all
I feel like a lot of teams are can I say the word bullshit?
Oh yeah, you can go for it.
I can say whatever.
Yeah, just let it rip.
All right. So the one thing about Prestige is we don't hire new realtors. So if you're working with an agent at Prestige, chances are they're a good realtor, right? I could have 150 realtors right now, but I chose not to do that because I didn't want to have a bunch of uneducated people in the real estate business that have no idea what they're doing, bringing down the realtors that are actually successful and know what they're doing. So I made that a point to not hire new realtors, which is like very important. I'm very anti-team. I personally don't think a team dynamic makes sense because say you're a seller of a house, right? And you hire a team, right? You're hiring the team leader. The team leader is the person that's actually selling real estate. They know what they're doing. They know how to handle transactions and situations based off their experience, right? Yeah. So I'm Joseph. I build a team. I hire 4 realtors that have no idea what they're doing, but want to learn and will do anything because they don't have no idea what they're doing. The problem is at the inspection and the appraisal and throughout the entire process, those are the people that you're constantly dealing with, not the team leader. So I've been in many situations where I'm the buyer's agent and I'm like, oh, there's a team. Okay, that's a listing agent. And I'm dealing with 4 different people. It's like, hi, I'm Jen. Hi, I'm John. I'm doing this. I'll be here for the inspection. It's like, you know, it's very, I don't think it's proper representation of either a buyer or a seller. I think I'm going to get a lot of heat for saying I don't like teams, but I honestly don't give a shit. So I'm a solo agent. I do about 40 million on average, give or take a year consistently. I think that's a great number for a realtor to be successful. I think you can do anywhere between 20 million to 100 million without being on a team all by yourself with like an assistant and a virtual assistant. So,
and what would you say to like new agents that they're learning and want to work for Prestige? And like, at what level are you like, all right, cool. They passed the level.
I get hit up all the time by new agents and I always tell them like, hey, go join like Keller Williams. You know, go join a team.
Yeah.
Pretend like you're going to like be on that team for life and say, yeah, I want to learn. I want to grow with the team. And then suck that information for 6 months. Do everything and anything you can to just learn buyer side, seller side, how to handle transaction, what lead paint is, what a seller's disclosure is, and just learn, and then just run and go on your own. Because at the end of the day, real estate is not about a team or an office. It's about yourself. People aren't hiring all of EXP to sell their house. They're hiring you. They're hiring me. You know, I'm the one picking up the phone call and doing all the things. They're hiring my experience. So I would say just learn as much as you can on a team in an office. Give up your money, give up your split, let them take 50% of your commission. Nothing matters for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Learn, and then go out on your own and put in the work, and hopefully you're successful. Otherwise, you're just going to go back to what you were doing before.
Yeah. And do you feel like that struggle, like it has to like save you like time and mental energy knowing like, all right, I don't have to train anybody.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do spend a lot of time and mental energy fine-tuning and teaching the realtors that do join.
Yeah.
So like there's plenty of realtors that join Prestige that are doing like 2 million and are kind of like figuring out, but they're smart enough to know like, hey, I can't be on a team anymore. I need to kind of go do my own thing and build my own brand. that's why they join. And those are the realtors I'm like, all right, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
These are the tools I'm going to give you because I have money.
Yeah.
I could pay for it. You can't afford to pay for it, but I'm going to pay for it to help you grow. Because if you grow, I grow. So that's the whole basis of our office.
Do you feel like there's like a general like thing that normally keeps an agent from like passing a certain level?
It depends on the agent, honestly. I think consistency is the biggest problem for all realtors. Consistency with cold calling, consistency with door knocking, even consistency with something so simple as like social media.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't know one realtor that picks up their phone every single day and posts a story, even though it's so simple. Like, you're going to an inspection anyway. You're going to an appraisal anyway. Why not just film it?
Yeah.
Why not post it? Why not post it on 2 accounts? Why not post it on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Why not post it on Snapchat? Why not post it on TikTok? So like everyone can learn together.
Yeah.
Maybe if you don't know what you're doing, you should be posting what you're doing.
Exactly. Nah, you're definitely like every time I go on Instagram, I can count on
I'm
a Joe Aziz
all
story.
fucking day. I don't get
And
it.
it's not even like you're not just like posting, you're engaging too. And I feel like we always say like, that's such an important aspect of social media. It's like, not everyone who goes obviously to your Instagram is going to buy a house from you. But
There's definitely people that come to my Instagram for knowledge, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I have a realtor." I'm like,
yeah, but we believe in like if you provide like good information, like somewhere down the line when someone is looking for someone like respectable, then they'll be like, "Oh, what about that guy that gave us?"
Yeah, for sure. I think I get a lot of. I mean, you'd be shocked at like what I get from social media. LinkedIn is actually a big lead source for me. A lot of people don't realize, but I was like a LinkedIn junkie like 6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I just went fucking nuts adding people on LinkedIn like 6 years ago. And now LinkedIn is like probably one of my biggest referral sources. And it's good to referral source because it's like professionals.
Yeah.
It's not like, some guy on Instagram who's like living in a basement like, oh, I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
The last 5 years, the rates were so low. There was so many new realtors in the market that people really weren't doing their due diligence about who they were hiring as a realtor. So then you have like a first-time buyer who hires a first-time realtor, and maybe they sold 5 homes, right? Nowhere near enough experience to represent a buyer correctly, right? You can do it. Any schlep can sell a house. But I'll give you an example of a situation that's going on right now. I got a call from a couple. They were like, oh, we want to sell our house and we want to buy another house.
Yeah.
And they called me, and I always look up, I look to see what they paid for it to make sure there's no negative equity and all that stuff, COVID forbearance, all the due diligence before the listing appointment. And I see they bought it from a realtor represented them on the purchase a few years ago, and it's a realtor that I know. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be awkward and weird, right? So, but business is business. And I went on the listing appointment. He's not in a prestige office. So I was like, competition, but not really, right? But I went on the listing appointment, and I did the whole listing appointment. I gave them my spiel, and I said to them, I'm like, hey, why aren't you using? We'll call him John, right? Say, why aren't you using John? So I just had to like make sure it wasn't actually John. Right? I was like, why aren't you guys using John? He's the one who sold you the house. And they said, we were first time buyers. We didn't do our due diligence.
Yeah.
We don't really feel like John has the skill and capability that you have. And it just goes to show you, like, all right, for example, they're selling that house for $550,000 and they're buying a $1.2 million house. So that's almost $2 million in sales right there that John lost out on because either he didn't stay in touch or he didn't impress them or he just he didn't stay in their line of vision. He truly didn't grow as a realtor, clearly. If he sold them a house about 3.5 years ago, and they definitely have to be Instagram friends, right? Because they did a whole transaction together. They're probably looking at his stuff and then looking at my stuff and saying to themselves like, yeah, there's a major difference here. And I have 2 kids and I need to make a smart financial decision. And now it's time to do a little research on who we want to hire to sell our house and close on the new house and make it seamless. So it's unfortunate, but I think a lot of realtors struggle with that.
Yeah. When did you first know that you needed to start putting out content?
I don't know, honestly. It kind of just happened naturally. I've always been a content person, Like when I was younger, I would just post bullshit. Like, oh my God, I got new towels, or I just, I would post the dumbest things, or my dog. But I think as I increase my knowledge with real estate, I started posting more because I obviously gained confidence.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of realtors, even the realtors at my office, sometimes don't post because they're not as confident because they don't have that information. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I guess anybody watching this, grow your knowledge and then speak confidently.
Yeah.
People are harsh on social media and they know. You either know your shit or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in your space too. I feel like it's like a lot of no.
Oh, yeah.
And like, yeah.
Don't even-
So your DMs fill up quick.
Oh, I've kicked people. I do real estate interviews and people come to the office and try to like, I would love for them to join and grow. But a lot of people come in with arrogance and they'll say, oh yeah, I want 100%. And I'm like, this isn't EXP. This is an office that you come in and learn and grow.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not looking to do that and you're coming with arrogance, you just don't fit the vibe of the office.
Yeah.
So it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
Was it always real estate? Was there something?
No, honestly, I wanted to be a home inspector. It's funny because I spent like $6,000 and like 6 months taking the home inspection course at Inspection 21 in Paramus.
Okay.
And I was a realtor that wasn't successful. And I was like, fuck this. You know, I need to make money. And I was like, yo, home inspectors are making like $600 a pop. And they're doing like 3 home inspections a day. I'm like, this is the move for me. And I've always loved homes and all that stuff. So I'm like, let me just do this course. So I did that course and like, I quickly realized like a couple things. Don't go to an inspection school dressed like a realtor because all the guys that go to inspection school are plumbers and HVAC guys and contractors. And remember the owner of the school like thought I was a spy because I would show up in a suit. Like, this guy showed up in a suit.
Who the fuck?
And then the guy next to me is like Tommy the Builder. He's, like, he's covered in paint, and we're all learning about HVAC. But I will say the funny thing is like that journey of like the home inspection school and getting that certification has helped me tremendously be a better realtor. And once I started promoting that I hold a home inspection certification, and I can go into a house. Like when I look at a house, it's very different than when like another realtor looks at a house. I walk in there and I'm like, let's go right to the basement. Like let's stand outside, look at the grading, and then we'll go inside and look at the basement. You know, like furnace, foundation, sill plate, electrical work, the panel, the service outside. Like I look at all that stuff first, and I think buyers really appreciated that.
Yeah.
And they started like seeing like, I started to see a lot of like, hey, we're working with a realtor, but like, they don't really know anything, you know? Or they'll walk into a house that's renovated and say, look how pretty the kitchen is. And then next thing you know, it's like a pre-1900s house with like foundational issues and like nothing was done right, you know? So I think that skyrocketed my success as a buyer's agent. And then I started to use it to my advantage as a listing agent because I would go on listing appointments and I would point out the flaws of the house that would come up during an inspection. And I'd say, hey, sellers, let's nip this in the bud, you know, so when inspection does happen, I'm going to be there. I know exactly how to translate what the home inspector is saying, and there are no issues, you know? So that definitely skyrocketed my business like tremendously. And I still think I'm like, if you're buying a house, there's people that call me from social media that are like, hey, we found the house already and we want you to show it to us and then we want to make an offer with you. So like, it's crazy how like marketing yourself and marketing the fact that you have that knowledge so that other people can confidently call you to represent them. It's like calling like a good attorney, you know?
What content do you feel like people gravitate to the most?
I would say investing. Everybody wants to invest. I mean, the Burr method and like house hacking and all that stuff. But unfortunately, you know, we live in New Jersey where interest rates are high all over, not just New Jersey, but also like the prices of homes are high. Like if you like $650 when I first started real estate or $550 even for a 2-family house was a fantastic budget. Now you're going to get like some dusty ass house in like Belleville that's pre-1940 that has not been touched in 30 years and has one tenant that pays like $1,000 and like a gremlin in the basement.
Just open up the basement.
You're like, and the attorney's like, you got to take it with the tenant in the basement.
Oh my God.
You go in the basement, it's like,
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. I can only imagine how drastically things have shifted.
It's nuts. It's nuts. It's kind of crazy.
Was there ever moments where there was maybe like second thoughts to things of like, wow, things are drastically changing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up, or fuck this, I'm ready for whatever's changing and I'll change with it.
Yeah, adaptability. You definitely have to adapt as a realtor for sure. And you definitely have to adapt with buyers and sellers. Like when the market changes, you got to be able to smell it, you know? And if you don't smell it in time, you could cost your seller or cost your buyer $100,000 in equity or potential sale price. Yeah, the market's weird. The market's weird. I will say this, though. I feel like a lot of realtors don't say this, but I'll say this is a little hack. November, December, January. Best time to buy a house. November, December, January. I have literally bought a house every December for the past 5 years. And it's like always under asking. Always like fuck around at the inspection. Always like get a deal somehow.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, if you're listing your house at that point, you either have to sell it because you're buying another house, or it's a death, or it's a divorce, or whatever situation you could take advantage of. And most people are like, I don't want to go out in the cold, or it's Christmas. Like, I'm going to spend time with my family, or it's Thanksgiving, you know? So, like, I feel like you can always find deals no matter how the market is right now.
Gotcha. So people are trying to that's the time where people are trying to get rid of their house the fastest?
I would say it's not always like trying to get rid of their house, but a lot of times it's like a situation where it's just like perfect timing for a buyer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no one in New Jersey wants to do anything in the cold, so they'd just rather just be like, fuck it.
But I'll show you a house if I'm not in 10, 20 feet of snow. I don't care.
How do you come up with your content ideas?
I got to say, it's really natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just pick up the phone and I think I'm lucky to have like the personality where like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'll like there's times where I'll say something and I'm like, oh fuck, that's not even right. Like that's not even accurate information, but like whatever, it's content, right? If people are correcting me, I'm like, you're right.
No, yeah, you're
That's
right.
good for the algorithm.
And I'll post that they were right, you know?
Exactly.
Like, I think consistently and just the ability to just not give a shit about what other people think is the most important thing as a realtor, but honestly across all fields, like even in your field or attorneys or whatever. Well, maybe not attorneys, actually. I take that back. Don't be an attorney and post wrong information. You end up in jail.
Oh yeah. Jesus.
So you're just always on the go with it. You just have no kind of plan. You just whatever comes to your mind, you're throwing.
No, there's definitely days where I plan content. Like I'm doing a 3-family house right now in Nutley.
Yeah.
You know, I went there day it closed. I went there when we gutted the house. I went there when we framed the house. I went there when we did the the rough electrical, plumbing, and HVAC is being done right now. So when that is done and I have the house cleaned up, I'll do a general cleanup. Then I'll have a day of filming at that house and I'll talk about the HVAC. I'll talk about the electrical and all that stuff. And that'll be like content days. But I'm talking like social media stuff. I just pick up my phone and record like stories and stuff.
Yeah.
I think people just appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. It allows people to just, like, the YouTube stuff and like, or the walkthrough videos and stuff. Like, there's part of that's, you know what I mean, slightly staged at times. You're making sure what you're saying is like, if you have to go over something again. But I feel like when people just see your face on the phone, like you recording it yourself, there's
that stuff
bit of authenticity.
Is it scripted or written? You know?
Yeah, no, not like scripted or written, but there's certain points that you have to make sure get touched on, and certain parts of the house compared to just being in the car fielding a question, people giving you their opinions, and then you reacting on their stuff. It's just like a real real time sort of reaction.
You're talking about people ask questions on social media? Yeah, I think that's what every realtor's afraid of because they don't have the answer, right? Like if you're posting about a new loan that came out or a specific program and you have one person that DMs a general question and you can't answer it, you really shouldn't be posting, you know? Like maybe that's why I always say like get informed, get educated, make sure before you throwing content out there. Yeah. But when I like schedule filming days, I just kind of get there and kind of do what you guys do where you like plan the whole shoot and then do the shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like briefly go over, all right, we're going to touch on this, that, and that.
Exactly. We didn't really do that here, though. You're like, all right. I'm 10 minutes late.
Adam, so if you're starting off to be a realtor, what platform, if you haven't picked it? Be a real estate agent?
Don't be a realtor, please. No more realtor.
What content If you could pick one platform to focus on, would it be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook?
I think everything is kind of like at a lull except for YouTube. And I think YouTube is the hardest.
Yeah.
I have, no big deal, 3,100 YouTube followers and over 300,000 views because I always look at that stuff.
Come on, Ben.
And
You got the numbers up, man.
I'll tag you guys. I'll put you guys on my show.
Yeah.
But I have over 100 videos and I'm constantly putting stuff out. I could definitely post more, but I feel like it's funny because listen, I don't know if I should be saying this because I don't want to help realtors that aren't with Prestige, stuff that I give Prestige agents. But I'll say this. If you're a realtor watching this and you're not on YouTube, I will tell you situations where YouTube has brought me over $100,000 in commission because YouTube is funny. If you post a video, right, and you just put like New Jersey real estate in the caption or whatever, you'll come up in Google organically just because of that video, and then they'll watch all of your videos, right, if the videos are good. And then if a buyer goes on Google and types in New Jersey Realtor, I have had situations where buyers screenshot the email that they get from YouTube saying, we noticed you Googled New Jersey Realtor. Here's a YouTube channel you should follow.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I'm not paying anything for that.
Yeah, suggested videos. Yeah.
Suggested, but emailed to the...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Direct.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
That's
This
nice.
is fantastic. So I think if you're banging out quality, educated content, it's definitely something everybody should be doing in every field.
Are you doing like the shorts as well?
I try to do as many shorts as I can. I always if you guys cut this video up and make a ton of reels, I'll post that reel as a short.
Yeah.
So that reel gets seen on a short and Instagram story and Instagram reel and like where else can you put it? WhatsApp. WhatsApp is another one.
Yeah.
I'm just giving away all the fucking
Right? Yeah.
WhatsApp is great. I actually met a builder recently from WhatsApp. He was saved in my contacts somehow, or I was saved in his contacts. I think what happened was he saw my sign somewhere, and then he saved my number and then never called me. And then I showed up in his WhatsApp because I post on WhatsApp stories because I'm a crackhead. So I post everywhere. And he called me up. He's like, I've been following your WhatsApp content for years. I'm like, what? And then I look at WhatsApp and I'm like, I have 40 views on my story. And I look and he's one of them. I'm like, oh, wow.
You never know who's watching.
You never know who's watching. Anyway, he gave me like 4 listings, brand new construction, like 800,000, 750,000, like crazy stuff.
Damn.
From WhatsApp.
And to get away from the content real quick, just a question. When a house needs to be like gutted out, when's that decision, like how's that decision made? And is there a time where you're like, this is just too much for me to take on?
In regards to what? It depends on who I'm representing. Like if I have a first-time buyer, they definitely shouldn't be buying a house that needs to be gutted. But if I have like a flipper who needs to gut the house, yeah, I need to like be informed before I even send them the house. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Here's an opportunity for you to buy this house and gut it, and this is what it's worth when you're done. Like real numbers, not like wholesale numbers where like wholesalers are like 300, put 20,000 into it, it's worth 600. It's like that's not true.
Yeah.
You should be buying it for 150 and it's 200 grand and it's worth 500 when you're done, you know? So there's a lot of misinformation out there. It all depends on who I'm representing.
Yeah.
You know, I talk to everybody differently. You have to know your audience just like you guys.
Definitely. That's such like a key, like know your audience.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
Listen, I've made that mistake. Like when I first started, because I don't care if I buy a property, I gut it to the beams. Any property I buy, because I'm like nuts. You know, it's not really the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
However, it's the most headache-free thing to do. Like anything I've ever purchased, I've gutted, redone completely so that I don't have to touch it for 50 years. And I never get calls about blocked lines or gas leaks or water leaks. I never get those calls, thank God. And knock on some wood, actually.
Yeah.
And it's because that's how I run my stuff. Sometimes when I'm showing homes and I'll see like opportunity of like the kitchen and living room and I could take down the wall, I'll just like, yeah, just knock down this beam and you guys will be fine. And then the buyers are like, I'm like, oh shit, you know, maybe let me just bring it down a notch. Easy there, Chad. Doing too much right now. But yeah, definitely know your audience and who you're talking to, and everybody's capabilities are different.
For sure. So now, like going forward with your content, I know like you've talked about a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
How's
I've been talking about a podcast for a long time. Honestly, this is my first podcast I've ever been on, so I came on here to like
feel it out?
see what's up, you know?
What'd you think of it so far?
I might steal a mic on the
I mean, you have a good setup where
It's
you would
great.
do it.
The
dude.
setup is great.
Yeah.
It's just the time to do both the YouTube channel and the content. But then like you could film a podcast video and then post it on your YouTube channel too.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know? So like there's so many opportunities. Just I really was really busy the last like
Yeah,
2 years, like crazy busy.
it is like I feel like for us, we were talking about doing one for a while too, and it's
Yeah.
just like, where do you find the time? But then like once it got going, I mean, there's obviously weeks and times where
So I'm gonna turn the tables here and ask
Yeah.
you guys a question.
go for it.
What made you guys pull the trigger on the podcast?
We had the capabilities to. So like why?
That was like the main reason.
I was like, we have all the equipment, we have all the mud, you know what I
And
mean?
we felt like what we wanted to talk about would be like, we create relationships every day of our lives,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
we knew we could get
Okay.
people to come on.
So what from the time you guys said we want to do a podcast to the actual first filming of the podcast?
It was a week.
What? Really?
Yeah, I ordered the mics and we're like, fuck it.
Well, when the final, yeah,
I'm talking about content that you put out.
Yeah, it was a week later.
Really?
oh yeah, it was.
Oh, that's fucking.
we
What are kids saying nowadays? That's spice. That's spice.
like our idea was like, okay, we'll film
A bunch.
X amount a day, and then we'll be good for some time.
Yeah,
But then you realize when you
Schedules line up and
yeah.
cancellations, stuff
Yeah,
where we
for
have
sure.
to go. I mean, we didn't miss a week until like 2-3 weeks ago, and it was just because of a shitstorm of things.
Yeah.
But
Still though, you guys did it within a week. That's fucking awesome.
yeah,
Man, it's evolved over time. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
but like he would like look into things of like, how fast do podcasts kind of shit out? Like, what mark should we get to where it's like, okay, now it's like easier to kind of keep going.
Because you could just put out content and nobody watches it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the
That's
good,
my fear.
and the good thing, and there's definitely podcasts that it happens to. Luckily, we've had on some.
I was gonna say, do you guys have people on the podcast where you're like, oh, nobody's gonna watch this? This is terrible.
There's times where it's
Like we had like our
we
boys
know-
on, you know what I mean?
we know
Yeah.
certain people don't have the same followings as like, we've had on
But it's still fun.
musicians and MTV models who are like, we know their following is gonna
Who's the
come.
coolest person you guys have had on the podcast?
Ben, you can answer this question.
Especially
Well,
currently.
Well, yeah, yeah, the dude who's
Joe Aziz.
sitting right across.
I mean, come on, yeah. No, I was I thought it was kind of cool when he had an AK, and I
Yeah,
had no like knowledge. Yeah, he's a
he's a musician from my town. He has
Oh,
like
cool.
1.5 million on YouTube.
Shit, what kind of music?
Rap.
It's like rap, like
Nice.
singing kind of deal. But we had on one I actually enjoyed. Her name's Darren Page.
Uh-huh.
And beforehand,
She was on Love Island, I think. No, Double Shot at Love.
she was on Double Shot of Love. I think she was on Love Island.
She was also on Love Island.
Love Island too.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
But it was like maybe like our 5th episode, and
Yeah, it was so-
beforehand I was saying to Joe, I was like, I don't know if I want to have one. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Instagram model, this, that,
Why
and
not though?
completely changed my mind.
Listen, I
like
feel
the
you
conversation.
learn from everybody.
No, 100%. And that was because going into it, I was like, well, if I am going to be doing this, I want to spend it having quality conversation with people and not just like talk about, posting feet pics or like whatever, which is
We touched
what
on
Joe touched.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she makes
No, I'm not into it. But
she into it and she makes the bag.
Joe paid her to be on the podcast.
But so I mean, like we had worked with her before,
Yeah.
like, she's very respectable.
So like a lot of the people we have on, we've had relationships.
Oh,
with.
cool.
Yeah.
But she like talking to her about like her business model to things and how she views things, and
She makes good money.
Yeah.
She need a realtor. Is she 1099? Has she been working for 2 years?
but yeah, I mean we've had on like
I like Jamie from Eat Clean Bro. That was a good one.
yeah,
The
Jamie,
CEO for. Have you heard of Eat Clean Bro?
Clean Bro.
Of course,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
He was a good one. I mean, he was probably our
He was intense, but he gave us a lot of lessons that were.
for sure.
Yeah, I used to do Eat Clean, bro.
Really?
Yeah, I did it
Yeah.
for a long time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I just would like have an Eat Clean meal, bro, and then I'd have like 4 cookies.
just heave it down.
Pointless, bro.
Yeah, but it's been Like, I don't. What episode are we on?
Benny, what episode is this?
47.
Episode 47.
47.
Oh, 47.
We're almost a year
I'd
in.
have rather waited for like a 50 or episode 50. We'll put it there. Can we make this? I already said.
We can do the intro one more
Let's
time.
edit. Like, hey guys, this is episode
100.
I think we hop into rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
So we do a segment on our show where we just rapid fire questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Favorite sneaker.
favorite sneaker? Travis Scott low top dunks.
Favorite brand of watches.
Ooh.
Favorite watch.
Favorite watch? Oh,
I feel like that's also tough because you probably have so many.
I have a lot of watches. I collect watches. That's a worse question to ask me. I would say I just bought a 50th anniversary Royal Oak AP with a green face. Super hard to find.
Sounds
I
beautiful.
traded like a shitty watch for it. Watches of Georgia or something. They did an online trade. It was cool.
Okay.
But a Rolex Hulk is also like was my first real nice watch. I paid off all my student loans, and I'm like, ooh, it's time to get a nice watch. And this was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And the Rolex Hulk was like nobody wanted a green watch. It's stupid. So I went to Coins and Collectibles. They had two of them for $89.50.
Oh, damn.
$8,950. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could buy both. And I bought one for myself, box papers, receipt, and that was my first like nice watch.
Oh, yeah.
And I wore it every day, and it really does go with everything. And now it's like discontinued and like one of the most iconic watches of all time.
Damn, fuck rapid fire. I just want to talk about watches. Next 30
Dude,
minutes.
let's do it. Let's watch podcast.
What do you think is a overrated superpower?
Overrated superpower? None. There's all superpowers. Like I'm
That's a
just
good
trying to think
answer.
in my head, flying. Like that'd be.
I would take
I
any
could get to
of them.
showing so much faster.
Yeah, right.
It'd be weird if you're showing two houses to the same client because then you're there first, and then
Yeah,
unless you just pick them up and fly,
that'd be nuts.
just get so much done, bro.
What's one thing new real estate agents should stop doing?
Negotiating their split because you haven't earned it.
Tell 'em.
Earn that shit.
Earn that shit, bro. What does Gary Vee say? Jab, jab, punch.
Jab, jab, jab. Right hook.
Joe,
Yeah.
Joe, show him your boxing move. Jesus Christ.
Slip that in.
Cringiest piece of content that comes up on your phone.
It's on YouTube. My very first YouTube video. It's fucking terrible. I shaved my head for some reason. A weird shaved head. I was wearing like a blazer with these really tight jeans, and I'm just like, "Hey guys, what's up?" Yelling.
Damn.
So bad.
Might have to
And
cut
then I
to that.
hired the cheapest videographer I could find, and the audio is horrible. bro.
Oh my
It
god.
sounded like the mic was in my butt. Terrible.
Define yourself 3 words.
The 3 words define myself. Resilient.
Mm.
Resilient as fuck is definitely one. I would say funny. Some people think I'm annoying. So funny / annoying.
There you go.
And I would say it's got to be the third word. It's got to be a good word.
It's got to be good.
Confident. Right? Isn't it? I said confident.
I mean, maybe I might be confident. Who knows, though? Confident / suspicious?
Confident if you'll allow me.
If animals could talk, what would be the sassiest?
The sassiest, probably my dog. He's so vocal, you know? He'll just, he's like, you ever see those videos of huskies like, so, the dog does that. He's an Aussie Shepherd. And like, if
So
you're not
real
giving him
vocal.
attention, yeah, he's vocal. I would love to listen to him. Just yapping. I would love to be able to talk to him.
Yeah, right.
I feel like he's kind of talking. He's trying.
Best car meetup spot. What is it? I see like on your Instagram you'll be at like.
I love cars. Cars and watches. I love. Majority of my money from real estate goes to cars and watches.
We're gonna have to have a special like
Cars and
Joseph Aziz podcast, Cars and Watches.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I wouldn't do that because I'd just get robbed. When are you on the podcast next? I would say Sunday Motor Club is a very cool like spot to grab breakfast, a good cup of coffee, and just meet some cool people. Everybody knows about it if you're a car guy.
Yeah.
See, a lot of Porsche guys go there. It's a big Porsche thing. I found out about it from a client who he's like, hey, you have a Porsche? I have a Porsche. I go to Sunday Motor Club. I did my wedding there. And he pulled his car up into like, it's like an old gas station
Yeah.
or mechanic shop. And they converted it to like a breakfast spot. And like, it's a little meetup. It's pretty cool. you see like anything from a vintage Porsche to like a SF90, you know, like crazy cars, stupid cars.
Damn.
Well, then on that, what is your dream car?
My dream car is the car that's in my garage. It is a 2022 992 Turbo S cab.
Oh.
Custom built about 400 times.
How long did you know, like, how long was that your dream car?
Honestly, it was only my dream car for probably 4 months. I'm the type of person where like if I want something and I put it in my head, it's going to happen eventually, and it's going to happen very soon because I'm going to have severe anxiety about it and do everything I possibly can to
I need it.
I need it now. I was in my dream car was always a Ferrari Huracan. I'm in a Ferrari Huracan. Oh my God, it's so dumb. Lamborghini Huracan, right? I'm like, I love a Lamborghini Huracan. But then I like looked at the people driving Lamborghini Huracans and I'm like, ugh. I don't want, there's like no class in that. No offense to Lamborghini Huracan people.
We love it.
I love Lamborghini Huracans. It's, you know, beautiful. But I'm like, and there's plenty of people that I know that have Lamborghini Huracans that are going to punch me in the face after. I just, I was coming back from Montauk and I was on Montauk Highway and I was bumper to bumper traffic and I was sitting in, and I was like, there's a Porsche dealership right there. So I pulled in and I'm like, let me just, you know, I'm sitting in traffic anyway. And in the showroom was like a 2019 white on red Turbo S. And I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous. And it doesn't look fast. It doesn't really look like a fast car. So then I was like, I'll do one of those. I'll take one of those, you know? And the guy was like, yeah, no, that's not how this works. And he's like, I do have one allocation. If you give me $1,000, I can put you on the wait list. And I was like, yeah, sure. I put it on my Amex. I'm like, here's $1,000 charge, whatever. And like 6 months later, he's like, hey, you can order your Turbo S now. And I was like, okay, let me look into this. And look, the car starts at $270. I'm like, oh my God. Let's do it. And I think I must have built that car over 100 times. There's so many specifications you could do. And I'm just like, I said to myself, like, if I'm going to buy this, I'm going to make sure it's covered by rental income, my rental properties, which covers tenfold. And I want to make sure I build it the way I want so that I never sell it. You know, like I've been in situations where I've sold watches and I'm like, oh, I regret selling that. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to buy this car. It's going to be my actual dream car. And I'm going to build it exactly the way I want it to like, you can specify the color panels, the stitching, like every little thing about that car you could pick. And I think I overbuilt it, but it's fucking perfect. And as a car, like I've gotten clients from it. I've gotten builders to work with me. I've gotten people to work with me because I'm like who is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is this guy in Jordans selling real estate, and he's driving this car that the top 3% of the general population can afford? Yeah. So like, there's got to be some kind of no fluff here. You know, there's this guy's got to be either good at his job or he's full of shit, or this is like this is not his car. So I did it for me, but it has helped grow my business for sure.
Was there times where like these fancier things seemed unattainable?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's definitely you see somebody with like a Rolex, you're like, oh my God, he spent 10 grand on a watch. That's crazy. I would never do that. And then like you start to like make decent money and you're like, oh, I could do that. And then like it becomes a spiral effect of like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. And then that becomes your mentality of like, oh, I can do that. I can afford that. I can do that. I'll make it work. I'll make it work. You know what I mean? And I think it's good to have that, but also have a balance of like, oh, this is like, I'm going to have all these nice things, but I also want to make sure I'm good for like having a family in the future and doing all these things to prepare myself to have children and a marriage and afford a wedding and all that stuff. So like, I think I see it a lot where a lot of people have like a Rolex, but they have nothing in the bank. They don't own any real estate, like, or they have a super nice car, but they don't own any real estate. They have nothing to their name. And it's just like, all they care about is the material things. I think if you're comfortable with yourself as a person, you're a good person, you have a good head on your shoulders, you have your finances in order, you have a big savings, you have real estate that you own and you know you're proud of and it's making you money, then go ahead and feel free to treat yourself.
Gotcha.
I didn't buy that car until I had at least 30 realtors in an office and I had multiple real estate investments that paid for it. You know what I mean? I would never like, car payment is $4,000 a month, I need to make $6,000 a month. Like that's not how I think. Like the car payment is I'll be honest with you guys, the car payment is $3,000 a month, and I put down $150,000. So like that's a big nut to swallow. That's a big.
Oh, cut that.
Yeah, cut that the word nut and replace it with pill.
We say cut that. Ben here's clip that.
And it's a big pill to swallow, but the more confident you are in what you've done and what you've built, you'll have no problem with it.
Yeah.
What was like a bigger like I'm here moment? Walking into your office and seeing 30 brokers, or
nobody comes to the office, dude. I have a beautiful office and maybe 4 agents go. It's so annoying.
Oh, God, that's
yeah.
But like that, like if it were the case, like that, or like signing the papers on the car.
Nah. I think the biggest moment was like just the ability to buy real estate. Like, it's really hard to buy real estate. Like a lot of people don't realize it, but like with interest rates being so high, even like when they were 4%, you have to show income, you have to pay taxes, you have to like put aside money and live your life. Like you have to make so many sacrifices to buy real estate.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm ready to make those sacrifices 10 years ago. I was like, I'm ready to make those sacrifices. And I made so many sacrifices, like no vacations, no trips, no treating myself, no nothing. Honestly, I just main focus was like just hustle and make money, which like if you're 20 years old, you should do that until you're 30 and try to grow as a person throughout that 10-year period, make as much money as you can and build yourself up financially. And that's basically what I did with so many sacrifices. And now I would say I'm just reaping the rewards of the sacrifices that I made. So
yeah.
What's one piece of advice you give your younger self?
Don't buy anything. Nothing matters. Like I have so many cars that I spend money on. Like I thought it was so cool. Like all these stupid things. Like honestly, like if you could wear the same thing every day and drive the same beater and not give a shit about what anybody thinks, do that for as long as you can and stack every dollar that you make and put it towards real estate, no matter what. Don't listen to anybody about interest rates. Don't listen to anybody about the market. Just do your thing. Hire a professional realtor and just put all your money into real estate. And I promise you, whatever it is, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Piece of advice you would give your older self?
Try to keep growing as a person. You know, I did a lot of therapy too, because like real estate will take its toll on you, especially when you're doing a large volume of business.
I'm sure.
I did a lot of therapy because like there are people that don't have boundaries. There are people that will call you at 12 o'clock at night. There are people that will curse you out. There are people that will treat you like shit. There's people that will, you know, bring you down. It's just part of the business. Yeah. You'll do a lot of work for nothing. You'll go on listing appointments that you won't get, and you'll lose it to a realtor that's like nowhere near the level as you.
Yeah.
Because they're a cousin or whatever the case may be. The business is brutal, and therapy definitely helped me a lot with that, and it also helped me grow as a person. And definitely focus on surrounding yourself with people that are going to do the same, like bring you up as a person, motivate you.
Yeah.
If you're hanging out with people that are okay being simple and have no desire to move forward, get the fuck away from those people, because you're going to end up in the same boat. Yeah. You need to surround yourself with people that are like, yeah, we're here, but this is where we need to be. And once they get there, we need to be here.
Yeah.
Now, you know?
Yeah. I remember growing, like, you know, when I started making a transition into, you know, making more money, being more successful in this field, you know, the more my mind started to expand it and see more opportunities and wanting to grow, I noticed there were some friends that would try to bring you back down, because it's like,
for sure,
because like to them, it's like, well, this person who I knew is changing, and I'm not changing. Yeah. So I'm not really a big
fan. Yeah, if they're uncomfortable and their insecurities are coming out verbally.
For those like you mentioned, like you can get a call at 12 o'clock at night, someone could ream you out or whatever. Like, do you have tools in place to like bring yourself back down from maybe like feeling anxious after a crazy call, or like even if it's like midday, because you got to kind of go on to the next thing?
For sure. I think you're talking about, in therapy they call it a bridge, right? So like you're in a place where everybody has a wounded self, right? And you when you're in your wounded self, you don't really make the best decisions, whether it's overeating or saying I'm not going to go to the gym or whatever it is. And a bridge is what's an action or something that you say to yourself that will bring you back to your loving self. And you can make better decisions from like a loving self. So like there's plenty of times where like something will happen. I'm like, oh, fuck. and then I'll just be like, let's go to Shake Shack, or you could just
I like that bridge.
stop.
That's a good bridge.
Bridge is Shake Shack is a fun bridge. But you definitely have to make decisions from like your loving self versus your wounded self. And I'm like, I don't want to get all like motivational and inspirational and all that, because that's not what I'm trying to do. I would just say like everyone needs therapy, right? But try to find your bridge, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It could be God, it could be making a prayer, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Definitely find a bridge that puts you in a better place so that you can make a better decision.
Yeah, no, I think that's like perfect, like well said. I feel like that's like a big thing I see at times. It's like something bad happens and people don't know how to kind of just
law of attraction, right?
Go on
like
to the
if something
next
bad
thing.
happens to you, like have you guys ever like starting your day and like you spill your coffee and you're like fuck, and then like 3 other bad things will happen. You're like fuck,
Is it
times
the
3.
day? Yeah.
And then you're like having a shitty day. Like I now, whenever something bad happens, like I got a call the other day. The realtor was like, yeah, they just don't want the house anymore. And like my seller, the wife is sick, and like that house sale means so much.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck. So then you like take a deep breath and you're like, okay, what's the solution? What's the next course of action? Because like, if you're not that person for who you're representing, and believe me, the general public always struggles with this. And if you have it down packed, you can kind of lead them in a way. Like I had another lady, she was like so nervous about her home sale, and something happened with termites. And she just like was like, well, I'm not giving them the TV. And I'm like, all right, let's relax. I'm not going to tell the buyer that you're not giving them the TV now because the house has termites. I'm like, here's my termite guy. I already called him.
Yeah.
I had to give him a heads up. He's going to come to your house on Wednesday. We're going to treat for termites. And it's $1,000 to treat. I'll cover half of it. Let's get this done. And then instead of going back to the buyer and saying, there's not coming to TV, there's no termites. I'm like, hey, the sellers took care of the termites. Everything's fine. And that's the stuff that really, like, again, it's all bridges and all things that you can do for yourself, but whoever is working with you. I think a lot of people appreciate that too. A lot of people naturally see it.
Yeah.
People get emotional. Everybody's emotional. We're human. And if you can, like, if you're in an emotional place and you're making decisions, you're like, fuck. There's going to be a point where you sit back and you're like, oh, that really wasn't like the smartest thing to do to say. But thank God for Joe, right? Thank God Joe calmed me down and walked me through it, and he helped me make a better decision. And now I'm $100,000 richer because of, you know what I mean? Like there's so many situations with real estate where that's important.
Yeah, you become a therapist for your buyers, the sellers.
You're everything, dude. I've sold furniture. I've sold a car before. I can do anything.
That's awesome.
And where can the people find out more about you?
So I have a YouTube channel, Joseph. If you just type in Joseph Aziz into YouTube, I should come up, hopefully. Make sure you like and subscribe.
He does. I checked it.
You did? Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then Joe NJ Realtor on Instagram. I have a second page. It's the same shit. It's Joseph Aziz Real Estate. I post it together. Find me on WhatsApp by my cell phone. 201-708-5067. Feel free to call or text me. I'm pretty fucking responsive. I have no unread messages, no unread emails. I clear out both every single morning and night.
God damn.
And people who close with you get an espresso maker? An espresso?
Yeah. So,
Not a free. That's a
that was hilarious. That's funny that actually I was like, that was like a couple years ago. I was the first one who did it. A lot of people copy me right now.
Yeah.
I'm humbled, but you know who you are and stop. Do something else. I said to myself, what's a good closing gift that I can give to people that they're going to use every single day? And I give them an espresso machine with the frother.
Oh,
right? A lot of people give the cheaper one. I'm like, nah, I give the one that comes with the frother. So don't fuck around. I stick around it too. So every morning I'm
me, baby.
part of your morning, baby.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And any quote or anything to leave the people off with?
I will say, like, if you need a house, call Joseph Aziz.
Boom.
Go Aziz, everybody.
You guys know what I mean.
Yes, sir.
Woo!